I'd like to show you how you can take the templates that are on Polygonjs Marketplace and how you can use Polygonjs Visual Editor to edit them, to change the look of them, the behavior of them, and basically change them how you would like to fit your needs. So the first thing you want to do is follow the GitHub link, and this shows the repository of the whole project. Once you've grabbed it, then you have those files here. Make sure to run yarn to install the dependencies. If you don't have yarn installed, you will need to have that installed. And then you can use yarn serve to start the local server, and you'll have that on localhost 8080. So now you have the paint effect right there. Now let's see how we can use the editor. So I will type yarn polygon, and now I can simply follow that link, and I will have the editor. Now, no scene is loaded yet, so I still need to go to File, Load Scene, and I'll have the only scene that is available in this repository, and here is the scene. Now I can start press play, and I have the painted effect right here. So now let's start to understand how the scene is being built. So we only have those 3 nodes on the right, and the globe is probably the main one where we need to go. The camera contains the 2 cameras that we have available here. The main one really is the one we need. We're not going to need to change that, and some lights, which in the case of that scene are not going to be used because there is no lighting. So let's go inside the globe by either double clicking or clicking on that button, and then we need to locate the display flag. The display flag is this blue vertical line, which basically shows or tells Polygon what needs to be present in the scene. So if I was to change the display flag to one of the inputs of the merge node, let's see, I put it on this particle system, then I only have the particle system visible. If I change the display flag to the other input, then I only have this other input visible in the scene. So this is a good way to isolate objects and help deconstruct how the scene is being made. So for now, let's keep the display flag on this because it's just more convenient to see the points against a black sphere. And now, in order to get a sense of how this color is set, let's go into the particle system. And we can look at the particle system in 2 ways. We can simply look at the parameters that are on the node itself, or we can also go inside this node. So if we go inside, then we have a bunch of nodes which define the behavior of the particles. So what we have is, if you look on the right, we have 3 nodes that are going to interest us. We have the output, which in that case changes the position, but the position is really the same as the input, so there is no change here. And then we have 2 attributes which are being set, the hovered attribute and the base color attribute. And those are custom names. They are not hard-coded names. It's just us defining what are the names of the attribute we want to change. And then those attributes are going to be used in the material, for instance, and so we need to see how they are being used. So right now, we don't have enough information to know how that color is being changed. We need to figure out, okay, what's happening to this base color attribute. So if we go back up, and if we select the particle node, we can see that a material is being assigned to it here. So I'm going to click on this arrow to go to the material. And this is a point particle material. I can go inside, and here there is another network. And if we look at the output node of the material, we can see that 3 things are changed on it: the color, the alpha, and the point size. And for instance, if we look at the points, they have this round shape. But if we were to disconnect this alpha, which is connected to this disk node, then the points are becoming square, and they basically only have this round shape because of the disk node applied to the alpha. That's it. So if we wanted to have them bigger, we can look at how the point size is being set, and there is this mult node. If I was to set that to 2, for instance, here we go, we have bigger points. But let's put that back to 1. And now if you want to see how the color is being made, the color then is simply used from this base color attribute. There is no other change. I could put, let's say, a constant instead. I'm going to put that to, let's say, green. Actually, I want that as color. It makes the selection a little easier. Then the points all become green. but let's keep using the base color here. Because right now, if I use the constantly change points everywhere, I don't necessarily want that. I want to keep the paint effect. So let's go back to the particles and let's see how the base color is being set up here. So we basically, what are the inputs of that node? It's basically those nodes here. So it all starts from the global time. Then the global time is fed into a multadd, which is basically multiplying the value of the time. And then we have the value of the time multiplied by this multiplier going into the x component of a vector 3. This vector 3 goes into HSB to RGB, and then this goes into this mix node. So from there we can keep playing around. So for instance, let's try and bypass the mixed. So if I was to do that, you can see that the particles are being changed everywhere. It's only using the mix node that they are changed only where the cursor is being placed. So a good place to change the color of the node would be, let's say, to create a color, a constant. And if I was to put that to Vex3, let's say I'm going to put that to red. So if I was to directly put the constant here, it would again change point color everywhere. That is not what we want. But if I was to only change it here, then here we are. We only paint where we want them to be, where the cursor is. So that's basically where and how you can edit the scene. And let me do one thing. Let me just save the scene. And as soon as I saved it, you can see that this refreshes and it will reload. And we have our updated effect right here. So I could change the color. Let's say I want it to have green. And I save the scene. And again, the local server will pick it up, reload the scene, and we have it, or we want it right on the website.